Hello, Liz. We are here again. This is getting a regular, isn't it, our little meetings?
I know.
How's your week been? Been a good one?
Yeah, I must admit, the moon is getting to me tonight. So if I do nod off, shout.
If we hear your dogs howling in the background.
Especially the big one, yeah, she loves it. So, oh, good, I can pretend to be a wolf again. And we forget, you know, the moon impacts all of our animals, really, doesn't it? I mean, you know.
Yeah, it's strange. My cats, actually, my dogs are just completely oblivious to it. I just don't think they've got the energy to be bothered with anything. But my cats are really restless tonight, and they're all. If you look at my house, there's like a cat in every window. They're just sort of staring. It looks quite surreal, really. But
so really, you're getting your Halloween decorations up in time, aren't you? I just put a cat in every window.
I've just stopped in the house, Liz, so that the cobwebs are growing. That's my excuse. No housework now until November.
But there's just something about, but that's why there's conkers, because you bring the conkers in that help keep the spiders out, isn't it?
Yeah, I've heard that. I thought, well, I should be fine because Isaac brings me conkers home every day.
Oh, you just keep putting them around by the doors then and the windows.
And I just keep finding them in the washing machine because he leaves them in his shorts, trousers, pockets.
Well, you say that, but people put the crystals in their bras, and the number of times they said, oh, they went through the washing machine.
I've not done that one yet.
So I'm going to show you, and anybody that's watching, the first of our little delights tonight.
Oh.
So we have a bookmark. So anybody that comes for a reading or purchases anything will get one of these fabulous bookmarks, that lovely QR code that Rachel has been amazing setting up to take us through to our Amazon shop. And then it's got some of, not all of our products, because, you know, we sit here and we chat and nobody seems to know about the things that we do. So going forward, we're going to be doing a little few more lives saying, you know, about our love oracle cards, about our crystal energy cards, our crystal oracle cards, books. And there's another little special, but that's coming up later, isn't that, Rachel?
No, I'm excited about that. Absolutely.
So I was very pleased with this, and it's always down to Rachel's creativity. Don't think I have anything to do with that part of it. I just think just the imagery and what you've managed to achieve with those. And just there, can you see, anybody that's watching, we have our fabulous sort of affirmation cards, which we'll be posting a bit more of, because it fits in very much with what we're trying to talk about at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. Manifestation and affirmations are really, they go hand in hand, don't they? And you know, it's one of the things we talk about a lot, that and journaling. I feel like I talk about journaling constantly, but they are two of the most important things on the manifesting journey. So and I can see people are starting to log in and join us now. So good evening to anybody and everybody, whether you're watching. We know we're learning an awful lot of people watch replays and catch up later. So I think the most important thing to say is anybody who is on a replay or on a catch up, if you've got any questions that, you know, perhaps we don't explain something very well, or you want clarification on something, if you send us a message or put a comment on the video, we will get back to everybody, because, you know, we know that life is busy and sitting down and listening to us for an hour on a Friday night isn't always your number one priority, although it could be.
Perhaps it's more exciting than some of the things on television. It's not just, you know, the time with us, but then it's the work that you have to do when you go with the moon afterwards. So it's quite amazing.
Well, whoever was watching has just logged off. So you mentioned television, isn't it?
I think we should make a start anyway.
I think so, yes. So, well, tonight I feel like I'm in my element, being a farmer's daughter, and we are here to celebrate the harvest moon. So you're going to have to stop me, Liz, because I will get very excited and I will talk about this moon until the next harvest moon, if you let me. But that's really what we are here to do tonight. So yes, it is the harvest moon, it is a full moon, and it is another super moon.
The last one.
The last one, yes, the last one of this year. It's been quite a journey, hasn't it? Since July, we've had 4 supermoons quite sort of close together. And I think there's been some really strong, powerful energy coming off them.
Hi, Kelly. Long time no see. I hope you're well.
Hey, nice to have you. So what we're going to do tonight, we're going to talk. We're going to talk a little bit about the harvest moons. We're going to talk about what it means, what it symbolizes, why it's so special, and a little bit of the science behind it, because there is specific reasons why this one is called a harvest moon. We've then got our ritual, our live ritual that we will be doing, and we're going to talk a little bit about what we're including, why we're doing it, and how we put these things together. We'll then do the ritual, and then then it's a Q&A session if anybody's got any questions for us, and if not, then we will be checking in with the tarot and oracle cards and whatever else Liz decides she wants to flash at us, in terms of course, just to check in and get a bit of guidance to see what energy is around us at the moment. So does that sound good? Have I missed anything so far?
Not at all, not at all. And then it's over to everybody to go and do their rituals. And I think what's so interesting about this one, it's about, sort of embracing the abundance, which I'm sure you're going to talk lots about, as your barns are probably full of abundance at the moment. But also, there's a bit of gratitude, but a bit about release. And what's interesting about this moon is the release is done almost in parallel, as opposed to the night before. So you have that release and then straight into it, which is great because it just gets it all done at the same time.
Absolutely. And that's very much how tonight's ritual is going to go. So it will be release and then gratitude, literally backing onto each other. So that will be demonstrated. So, harvest moon, can you see it at the moment? It is absolutely stunning. I've tried to take some pictures, but they always look a bit naff on my phone, but I might share them on the group later and show you what I can see out of my window right now. It's incredible. But the harvest moon is, it's really unique because it rises really, really close after sunset. And what that does is it actually provides extended moonlight during the evening. And this is where traditionally, I come from a family of farmers. Everybody in my family is all the way back has always been in agriculture. And what that meant was obviously everybody's trying desperately to get their crops in. And this extra bit of light, if you like, was almost like a bit of a blessing. And they would go and work really, really hard under the moonlight to get the last of their crops in. And then there would be the big celebration afterwards, which is where the harvest festival that we celebrate at school, and there's various events in churches and all sorts of charities sort of celebrate the harvest festival, and it really comes from the origins of the harvest moon. So that is a real sort of starting introduction, if you like, in terms of this moon and what it's about and why it is so important and why I get so excited about it. So, as I said, this moon, because it's really close to the Earth, which is why if you see the moon right now, it looks huge. And it's also got a bit of a pinky orangey glow around it. And that's because the sun is so close behind this moon, and the proximity, because the moon is so close to the Earth at the moment, it makes it look that much bigger for us. And it's almost like, you can put your hand out there and almost touch it. It feels really close to the ground at the moment. And obviously before we had electricity, the farmers really relied on nature in all sorts of ways. We used to tell the time from the sun, and the moon used to guide us in terms of when was the right time to get their crops in. It really sort of was used very much as a guiding tool for farmers at this time of year. So again, that's really why we're looking at the harvest moon. And for anybody who is a wine lover, you may also be surprised to know that in some places it's actually called the wine moon, because it was responsible for letting farmers know when their grapes were plump enough for your glass of Pinot Noir. So if you fancy a little tip of wine tonight, then, you know, put a toast up to the moon, because it's helped in that as well. So, yeah, we're very, very grateful for that.
But it's still part of that abundance, isn't it? You know, the abundance of grapes when they're plump.
It is about, you know, getting that, and that's where your gratitude comes in as well, because obviously, you know, at this time of year, you would hope farmers would be very, very stressed right now if they haven't got their crops in at this stage. But it is now about, we've got the crops in, it's about preparing for winter and, you know, being thankful for what we've got, and the fact that, like you said, the barns are full, and, you know, we've got our reserves to get us coming for the colder months that are coming up towards us, I guess. So, I mean, one of the things that I also think is interesting with this is various cultures have different rituals and festivals and traditions that are associated with the harvest moon. And in ancient times, people believed that they could actually chase the harvest moon, and they used to sort of run after its reflection on a pond or in a lake or something. Now, of course, the moon's reflection is always just out of reach, which is where the expression, you know, chasing moonbeams comes from. That's sort of an expression that people, you know, still allude to, or you're chasing the dream, you're chasing a moonbeam, and that's where it comes from. It's because people were trying to reach out, particularly with this moon, because it is so close to the proximity of the Earth. So there you go. so chasing a dream, Liz.
Yeah, chasing the dream.
Yeah. Now, if you're feeling romantic, just putting that out there, couples often take moonlit strolls, and in some traditions, you know, it's really thought that if you make a wish on the harvest moon, it's actually amplified and more likely to come true than at any other time. So again, that's why we're sort of looking at these rituals tonight, and we're showing our gratitude and, you know, wanting to really work with the moon to help us with our manifesting goals that we are all looking at trying to achieve at the moment. And some agricultural societies perform rituals during the harvest moon to bless their crops for a bountiful harvest. And these rituals are colourful, they involve music, dancing, and offerings to the moon. And that's one of the things tonight we will be doing, an offering for the moon. And when I turn my cameras around and you see that my altar in front of me, you'll see that it's quite colourful, but very sort of autumnal colours. And I think it's it's one of my favourite times of year, and I know it's your favourite time, isn't it, Liz? So
absolutely.
Get your broomstick out.
Oh, wait. The hat is being dusted off, ready for next week. So I'm all set to go. As our spellcaster will say, have broom ready for travel.
Absolutely. But really, however you choose to celebrate the harvest moon, the main thing associated with this, as you're probably gathering here, is abundance, gratitude, and it's all really about the cycle of nature. It's very much a natural celebration, one that is steeped in history. So, you know, really just in conclusion to this sort of little opening bit, if you like, it's a captivating event that is really marking the transition into the autumn.
Obviously, the moon's caused a few technical hitches, as it does. And as Rachel says, just about the transitions, you know, it really is, because we've just had the equinox, that real big time of the year when things move on. You know, we all go through those changes, and sometimes we forget that. Sorry, I just filled in a little gap there.
That's fine. I heard you the whole way through. I was looking at a black screen, but I could hear you. You filled in beautifully for me. Thank you. Well, the next thing that I think we really wanted to cover with this, because I mean, obviously we're rushing through this a little bit because the ritual is probably one of the main events for tonight, and then to get on to looking at the cards. But the harvest moon really represents a chance to embrace new opportunities. It's a perfect time to create goals for yourself and start to really, really put effort into manifesting your destiny. And this moon allows you to really carefully create beginnings, and it encourages you to leave negativity behind you, bad practices, bad habits. Not that any of us have any bad habits, of course. But you know, that is really what this is about for tonight. So there we go. Over the coming week, as the moon starts to recede a little bit, we're going to be looking at giving you lots of hints and tips in ways to overcome doubt, combating personal challenges, and clearing any blocks that might be preventing you from moving forward. Because as we're coming to the end of the year, when we get a little bit closer to the end, you know, people will inevitably start thinking about, dare I say it, New Year's resolutions and all these kind of things. So we just want to make sure that if there's any negativity hanging around us right now, we take this opportunity and move on, get rid of it. Get rid of that schnazzle. We don't need that, do we? So I'm just going to have a quick tea. You can fill in for me, Liz.
This looks like a mug, but it's actually the Pinot Noir. So don't let Rachel fool you.
No, absolutely. When I start slurring and, you know, everything goes up in smoke later, it's all special effects for you, you know.
Those candles really worked.
So, okay. Now, when we are thinking about this, absolutely.
Oh, Rachel's gone again. But yeah, Rachel's going to do a fabulous ritual, but with the release, the moving forward, the offerings, lots and lots of different things that you can bring into your own practice. Not saying that it has to be done exactly this way, but I think it's just engaging and just give you just some ideas. And we've had a lot of fun this month talking about the different moon aspects. We will be doing a little bit with Halloween as well, because I can't resist it. But hopefully, just with that knowledge and how to put things together, it's going to help you in all the things that you want to do. Now, I don't know whether you still was still there, but I mean, if you think of your businesses, Kelly and Chrissy, how you've it's all me now, how you've broadened them, just bringing, you know, what aspect to it would you like to develop? Would you like to make that much bigger? And all of this fits together perfectly with it. And I think that's really important. So while we've lost Rachel for a minute, I've got these wonderful cards which are called Moon Energy, and I couldn't resist pulling this one, the full moon, completing the cycle, and that fits perfectly with where we're at the moment. And I don't know if you can read it properly. Letting it go. What's interesting, facing the shadow. And I'm going to be doing a whole section, probably beginning of November, which is using the major arcana to work with your shadow side. And the big thing is completion. So we've just got that lovely cycle. I just sneaked a card out while you weren't looking, Rachel.
I think you cast a spell to get here, didn't you?
Get Rachel off, Liz.
Absolutely, she's waffled enough. Are you still reading?
No, carry on. Back to you.
Okay. All right, so I'm gonna we're getting ready for this ritual now, but I wanted to talk a little bit about the setup for this particular ritual tonight. Now, I know we have shared some information online if anybody wanted to download the details for the particular ritual or spell that we're going to do tonight. But really, intention setting and preparation are absolutely essential for any ritual. And for me, this one in particular has a heightened importance. So you'll see, as I say, when I turn my camera around, you'll see my table and you'll see I've put a bit more effort behind that. Now, these practices help create a focused and really meaningful experience when you're aligning your energy and intentions with the purpose of the ritual. So what I wanted to do was kind of try and outline why I think intention setting in preparation is so important. Because do you know what? You could There's absolutely nothing wrong with just going out and having a quick chat with the moon and, you know, expressing some gratitude and talking about what you want, and that's absolutely fine. But I think, you know, if it's something that you're really wanting to manifest and it's something that's going to change your life, make things easier, give you whatever it is you're looking for, then actually for me, I think it's really worth putting the effort in and making a bit of a show of it. So, you know, the first thing, we always tell you this, it's about setting your intentions and getting really, really clear on why you are performing this particular ritual, and to identify what it is that you're wanting, and ensuring that the ritual that you are doing is actually reflective of what you're wanting to manifest into your reality. So, you know, you can use all sorts of different things to symbolize what it is that you're looking to bring about. Now, you're going to be looking at my table tonight and trying to understand what I'm manifesting now, I'm sure. I'm not manifesting satsumas, I promise you, although there are a lot on my table. And then it's very much about aligning your energy with what you want to do as well. So, you know, aligning your thoughts and your emotions and using the affirmation cards that we talk about to really help you manifest, and use them during your ritual. So again, you'll see on my table, I've got some cards that are reflective of the kind of things that I'm wanting to bring in. Now, I spent some time earlier before we came on the live actually preparing for this ritual. And I think that it's a really nice thing to do, because what it does is it's making you mindful. It's making you think about why you are doing this. And actually it focuses your mind and takes away other distractions that might be going on. So when I was setting my table up, I wasn't thinking about feeding the kids and doing the washing and all of those other things. So what that means is that when I sit down to do the ritual, I've got a heightened state of awareness of what I'm doing and why I'm doing it. And I'm actually more connected to what I'm doing because of the effort that I've put into preparing everything. Now, rituals, as you know, often involve elements from nature, or they can have sacred objects. And preparing these items, again, with care and demonstrating respect for them and using them in the ritual in a way that makes sense to you. So, you know, yes, you can Google, you can read all the kind of things that people are suggesting. But actually, if there's something that you feel you want to include in your ritual, then it's absolutely right. And likewise, if there's something that doesn't sit right with you, then don't use it. There's no sort of hard and fast, you know, these things have to be used. And then I think as well, psychological preparation, you know, come into a ritual with the right mindset, come in believing, wholeheartedly believing that what you are wanting to manifest is going to happen. Because, you know, if you're sort of talking to the moon and saying, yeah, do you know what, I really want this, but actually I don't believe it's going to happen, well, you're kind of shooting yourself in the foot before you start. You've got to have the right mindset to allow these things to happen and come about as you want them to, because your mind is one of the most powerful factors at play here when you're manifesting. Now, items that you can use, and I will talk about some of the items that I've got here and why, but candles, yeah, there's an awful lot of candles here. I think I'm sending smoke signals to Liz across the river. But they represent the element of fire, and they're symbolizing transformation, but also illumination. So they're working with your intuition, they're lighting the way, and they're guiding you to what it is that you are wanting to achieve. And so that's, for me, that's a big reason why candles are so important. I have crystals on my table, not many tonight, just for me at the moment, I've just got a piece of clear quartz on my table. And crystals can be used for all sorts of different things. So, you know, crystals, if you take rose quartz, for example, if you're wanting to manifest love, or whatever, you know, citrine if you're looking for money. But, yeah, there we go. I knew you'd have one. You never let me down. But, you know, crystals are there again. It's another sort of natural element that is really, really powerful, and you can use them in different ways. Now, we're going to be looking at my crystal tonight and connecting it with the moon, so you'll see what we do with that. Now, depending on your traditions and your beliefs, your altar may have, it may be a sort of a focal point in your ritual, or you may not have an altar. And we talked about this before. It really is down to personal interpretation. Perhaps you don't have the space for it. Maybe it's one or two items that just sort of you feel connected with. Incense, again, it's a lovely thing to do, and it's also a great way of purifying the space. But it also gives a sensory experience and brings a bit more of an extra atmosphere and a bit more dimension to what you're doing. Plants and herbs, again, you'll see some of those on my table tonight, but incorporating them, particularly with the harvest moon, so things like apples, pumpkins, grains, they're natural, they're symbolic, and they just bring a bit more show, I suppose, to the ritual that you're looking to do. And then always good to have a journal, there we go, like me and my journals, or a notebook or a piece of paper, because you never know, you're going to get, thoughts that come through, maybe something different happens that you weren't expecting. It's really good to just write these things down, because as much as you think, I'm going to remember this, chances are you don't, unless, like me, it's going to be recorded. But if it all goes wrong, then it's there for everybody to see. But I think the big thing here is remember that whatever you use in your rituals just resonates to you. I think I'm looking to manifest a stronger internet connection. Yeah. I think that's going to be my number one goal at the moment. But yeah, take your time. Take your time when you're selecting the things that you want to use to be symbolic items in your ritual, because that's just going to deepen your connection, in particular to the harvest moon, but also to the purpose of what you're doing. Now, obviously, we've talked very much about nature, so it's really nice to have things that are symbolic of.
I think that moon's having its way with a little bit of the IT issues there from Rachel's, but I think what Rachel's trying to say is all the amount that you incorporate, what you bring into it, have that personal passion, that feeling. It's just, I think it's just incredibly important that you just use these as almost like guidelines. I don't journal, but I always use, this is Mark Duffin, as used there's a painting behind, and he produces these fabulous cards, which are all limited edition. And I tend to use those because it's something special. It's something that you really want, that you have that feeling about. And as Rachel said, putting a bit of time and effort into it is so very important. That we can have two Rachels now. And we need to.
Yeah, I don't quite know what's going on right now. Hang on, let's move on. There we go. I thought rather than keep disappearing on you, I'll appear twice, and then if one of me goes, it's fine.
Rachel, the way it's set up, you're a bit off screen now.
Oh, Liz, honestly.
I don't want to be that big.
Is that better?
No, this way a bit. It's amazing because StreamYard is normally such a stable platform. It's wonderful. But then that's what this is all about, isn't it? It's about having some fun. And do you remember the old days? We used to have lots of fun. Dare I mention the word lockdown? We used to do things, and we always managed to make it sort of interesting and achieving things. And so many people have done loads and loads of stuff, and it really warms my heart to hear what everybody's doing and how they've diversified or brought something different in or added a bit of knowledge. It's just fabulous and such a wonderful community. And I think with this now, this is the next stage. This is moving on. This is certainly bringing those rituals together, working out sort of what you want. Hello.
I just pop in, you know.
I think you need to touch the ritual a little bit now. You need to release that IT. You need to do the release for the IT gremlin.
No, it's all going swimmingly, isn't it? Should we have a go? Should we start this ritual?
Definitely.
I think we'll give it a shot, shall we? So let me just change my cameras, and then hopefully you might be able to see what I have been talking about. There we go.
Wow,
see that?
Yes.
Right, I am just going to. There you go. I haven't got rid of you, Liz, but it's just so that my screen is a bit more visible.
Absolutely. Wow, so that looks amazing.
So that we know that you're there. Now, you can see, well, I'm just going to light a few little candles just while I'm. See, if I'd been prepared, I would have done this earlier. But everything went a little bit wrong, really, didn't it? So, the first thing we've talked about this is a ritual for letting go. And what I have here is a piece of paper, and I've written down on here some things that I really want to let go of. And I think it's really important to take your time and give this lots of consideration when you're doing it. And remember as well that you don't have to put everything down this month, because, you know, in 29 days' time, we're going to get this opportunity again. So don't stress yourself if things aren't on your list, but really sort of think about what you're trying to manifest and try and think about some of the things that might be blocking you. And then once you've written them down, what we're going to do is we're going to take our piece of paper. Now I'm going to just tear mine in half, because otherwise I really will be sending smoke signals to the world. I've got my little cauldron just here. And I am going to just fold this up. And this is actually really quite therapeutic. And sometimes when I'm working, if I'm doing something creative and I'm struggling, I'll have my little pot on my desk throughout the day. And every time I have a thought of, this is rubbish, or I can't do this, or whatever, I write it down. And then at the end of the day, I have a good old bonfire. And I set all of these things on fire. And I say, actually, do you know what? I can do whatever it is that I'm working on. Can you see those flames coming up there?
Yeah,
you see
brilliant.
That burn. And so what we're doing here, I could move that forward a little bit, and you'll see. You see that? Make sure I don't set my leaves on fire. That would be bad, wouldn't it? But it's just, I mean, it's a thing, but it's actually saying, do you know what? These things, these negative things that I'm thinking about are not going to hold me back. And while that's burning, it's quite nice to sort of say or chant something like, I cleanse my mind, body, and soul and restore all that is good. I fill my aura with peace and harmony. Now, you can see there's nothing particularly grand or ceremonial about this, but it's actually really bringing some control back into your life. And for me, it's as much about that as anything else. It's about saying, these things aren't going to hold me back. You know, it's something I can just get rid of. I can eradicate it and get it out of my life. And one of the things that is really quite nice to do as well is, if you can get outside and there's not a million gnats going to have a feast on you, then go outside and meditate a little bit, and give some thought to what it is that you really want. You might want to light a candle, and you could say something along the lines of, earth, fire, water, spirit and air, be with me as I cast this spell. And read out loud to the universe what it is that you want, that you're wanting to bring into your life. And then you can chant something along the lines of, harvest moon, bring light to my path. And do this several times until you feel that kind of almost like intuitive inner calm that it just sort of settles with you and lets you know that your message has been heard. And, you know, I mean, it's a great time. I mean, Liz will support this definitely, but it's a great time to have a look at your tarot cards and see what kind of messages are coming out there. Those of you that will have seen on the Facebook page, we're doing a bit of an offer at the moment to support you. So if anyone's wanting some tarot guidance, then get in touch, because it really is nice to get some clarity around what's going on with us when we are trying to manifest. Now, I'm just going to move this to one side, and we're then going to move on to the next part of the ritual. Now, this spell is intended to celebrate the harvest moon, and it's all about evoking the energy of the harvest moon to bring abundance, prosperity, and blessings into your life. Now, abundance doesn't have to be money. It can be love, it can be a job, it can be friendship, it can be all sorts of things. So I've kept it deliberately quite general so that, you know, hopefully there's a bit of something for everybody here. Now, you're going to have to trust me when I tell you that I'm sitting here looking at my window and I've got a clear view of the moon. I say I'm not going to venture outside because I would be a mosquito snack very quickly. But, you know, if you are in a location that you're able to do it outside and do it under the moon, then it's a really magical thing to do. But if not, it doesn't matter. Now, I've got, I'll be back. There we go. I've got two little bowls in front of me. You can see here. One of them I'm going to put, I'm running down. I'm going to have to fill them up again, but some moon water. So just, but you can use, you know, normal, any water that you want. It doesn't have to be moon water. And in this one, I've got some rock salt. Now, I've got pink Himalayan rock salt, but again, it doesn't really matter. I mean, Liz, you'd probably want Malden salt there.
Absolutely.
Just try and get yourself some rock salt. I've then got a white candle here. White is obviously symbolizing purity and banishing negativity. I've got a piece of quartz. You can see that piece of clear quartz there. And that again is just going to sort of, quartz amplifies pretty much anything that you're trying to do. And then on my plate here, this is all about offerings. Now, you can do anything that feels right to you. So I've put a selection of bits here, but I've also got some other things on my table that you might like to consider. So I've got some cinnamon sticks. I've got here some juniper berries. You can have dried sloes. Liz knows I'm quite a fan of collecting sloes and making potion. I have got cloves that are really quite nice. They're a really sort of heady scent. Here I've got, these are quite nice. These are dried apricots, and I've stuffed them with almonds, blanched almonds. Now I've taken a photograph of this and I will put it onto the Facebook page later so you can see. And these are figs, dried figs, and they've got walnuts inside them. Now, thinking of Liz earlier, I've got a chocolate truffle because, you know, we want to celebrate the good stuff. And this is a pistachio truffle. And then you can see on my table, I've got lots of oranges because it's natural, it's seasonal. And these are just different things that for me felt right for doing my my ritual. But you could bring in, I've got the leaves, autumnal leaves, which is sort of very topical at the moment. You could bring in flowers, you could have specific incense that you want to burn. There's all sorts of things. And again, with this, there's no hard and fast rules. It's about what feels right to you. But I do think with this ritual, more than some of the others, you want a bit of show. You want to show what you're working with. And it's a very nature-based ritual. And that's what I'm trying to demonstrate with my table here. So we've got, hopefully my internet's going to stay stable, and we've got a nice peaceful location. I can see the moon out of my window. And like I say, if you can do this outdoors, then it's a beautiful thing to do. Now I've put my water in my bowl here, and I'm going to light my white candle. There we go, you can see that burning. And have my crystal here, as I said, and I've got my plate of offerings. So I've lit my candle. It's sitting here in front of me. Don't go out, candle. Hopefully that's going to go. I'm just going to sprinkle a little bit of my salt into my water. And then with my finger, I'm going to stir this clockwise. And that is actually representing purification. And it's the invocation of what we're actually doing here. So this is about the preparation. And then you would stand or sit comfortably in your space, facing the harvest moon, and take some deep breaths to really center yourself and connect your energy with the moon. And then take your crystal, hold it in your hand, and say out loud, "Harvest moon, radiant and bright, I call upon your celestial light. Bless me with abundance and grace, and fill my life with your gentle embrace." Then what I want you to do is hold the crystal up. You can't see it off my screen, so I'll do it here. But hold the crystal up in the moonlight. So if you can get the reflection of the moon in your crystal, then that's a perfect thing to do. And allow your crystal to really absorb the energy from the moon. And that's why I've gone from quartz for clear quartz, because that really amplifies anything that you're doing. And I want you to visualize the energy filling your crystal with pure sort of moonlight, the silvery light that you're going to get. And that crystal is going to be really important for you if you're manifesting as we go on for the remainder of the month. Now we're going to dip our finger back into the salted water, and we're just going to sprinkle a few drops. You're going to have to believe me that I'm doing this. Sprinkle a few drops of it over your head, which is symbolic of cleansing and blessing. And while you're doing it, you really need to focus on negative energy being washed away from you. And it's just, you know, the salt in the water is just taking all of that stuff away from you that you don't need anymore. We're then going to look at our offerings, and we're going to actually sort of make a gesture and offer these things to the moon with, you know, we're going to give them with gratitude. So close your eyes and take a moment to express gratitude to the harvest moon for its blessings and for the energy that it is sharing with you. When you're ready, blow out your candle, and as it extinguishes, visualize the moon's energy spreading throughout your life, bringing abundance, prosperity, and blessings. And then really take some time to reflect. So if you can, go sit out in the moon, reflect on what you've done, think about what you've asked for, and celebrate as if what you've asked for is already materializing and happening in your life, because that's really what we're wanting to do. And once you feel the time is right, leave your offering out. You can leave it on the ground, or you can bury it on the earth. And that is your gift to nature. So it's about giving something back, because harvest has given us, you know, the crops and the abundance to get us through the winter season. So it's about us saying thank you. And so, you know, if you fancy eating those apricots for yourself, then put something else out. But I think, you know, it's quite nice to put scented things or a bit of chocolate, or you could, you know, if you're feeling really generous, you could put a sip of your wine out there, or whatever it is. But whatever you do, remember when you're performing this spell to have a really pure heart and keep your intentions absolutely positive, because the harvest moon's energy is incredibly potent. So use it wisely and make sure that you're using it for the greater good. And may it bring abundance and blessings into your life. And may you celebrate on this special occasion. And I hope that I haven't rushed through that too much. I was terrified that my internet was going to drop out while I was talking to you. That would have left Liz hanging there, wouldn't it? So I am going to bring Liz back to the screen. There we go. You are. You're still awake. That's good. And I'm going to change my camera. I'm going to post some photographs into the Facebook group. I think I'm going to be sitting in the wrong place. Oh, no, I'm okay. I'm going to post some photographs into the Facebook group later on this evening, so that you can hopefully get a closer look at the offerings that I have got on my table here. So it will just give you an idea of some of the kind of things. But as I say, don't feel that you've got to mimic this in any way, shape or form. It's all about what feels right for you. And, you know, how you would show your gratitude. So There we go.
Perfect. Absolutely. Do you know, I really felt that. I mean, I don't know whether anybody else, I can feel it in my hands and everything. But what's quite interesting about this full moon as well is that, you know, it's a full moon in Aries. And Aries, as we all know, is the warrior. So it's really a time to take action. So it's wonderful, you know, doing that cleansing, setting the intentions of what you want to do. But actually, you've got to take a little bit of action after it. So it's fine what we're doing in this particular energy at the moment. But going forward, what are you going to do? And, you know, there's going to be shifts. There's always energy shifts. And it is a time to say goodbye to things, be it people, be it, you know, we always say what no longer serves us, but sometimes we can't recognize that. And it's that taking it away. That's hard, isn't it? I mean, it balances a little bit with Libra. It's a gentle energy, but really two big questions going forward is what do you want? And what does your soul actually need? What do you know, what is it that's really going to be doing? So you've got to decide on the changes. You've got to commit to them. And you've got to let go of that anchor that's holding you back. You know, you think of a boat in a stormy sea, they put the anchor, you know, and it's like dragging behind and it's pulling you, slowing you down. So some key words would be, you know, courage, because you've got to make that decision. You've got to maintain the balance in your life, and put some boundaries up, because your awareness is going to increase. And as we head into Samhain, Halloween, you know, All Hallows, whatever it is, you know, that veil does things. So the messages that will come through. So be good to yourself. Have that healing. You know, it's wonderful, wonderful ritual and wonderful things then. It's a shame I'm not there, because I would have scoffed that lot, no problem at all. Because Rachel is really good at putting food together, for those that don't know. But certainly, you know, it's now, you know, what do the next few days bring? What are you going to be doing? This platform that's been created, what are you going to achieve going forward? Which is, you know, that's beautiful.
Yeah, I think, you know, when we talk about manifesting, it is a lot about what we want. And obviously we're asking for whatever we're looking for. Maybe that's guidance, maybe it's intuition, clarity, maybe it's a job, whatever. But actually, you know, with everything, and I say constantly, it's a you step by step with the universe. And to actually give something back, you know, even, you know, I mean, dried apricots, I mean, you know, but it's symbolic of actually saying or showing your gratitude rather than just words. So every so often, I think it's a nice thing to do.
So I'm just going to create a little bit of a segue now. So I just had to pull our spellcaster oracle, and the pendulum is never still. Trust the message. Doesn't, as I've said many times before, it doesn't always have to be a pendulum, but in this case it does, because Rachel sorted this out. A whole new sort of dowsing board, really. It's A5 size, but fits in absolutely beautiful with everything that's been talked about this month, really about the whole of the lunar cycle. And to make it even easier, you get some notes on the back. Looks great. How does it work? I don't know whether I can get the angles terribly right on this, but keeping with the quartz theme, lovely, lovely, simple quartz pendulum. Not one of the fancy ones, just very, very simple. And the thing is, when you're using sort of one of these slightly different boards, remember this is the second, because we have the crystal board, so this is the second one that we've brought out in the short term. You need to, and I'm going to just hold it horizontally, you need to allow it, can you see that? Okay, time to find it's, and do you know what, this is not fudged, but can you see the angle that it's going at? And there, set your goals. So it's very much saying, probably directed at me, that I need to do a little bit more. But the whole point is that it's helping you connect a little bit more with the moon. It's helping you to see the different phases and what they mean. Because so often, I mean, certainly when I do readings for people, they go, so what do you do on a new moon? What is it all about? and it's, you know, about making the plans, but the plans would extend very much to different times within. So what maybe we do the spell work with is different to what we actually need to do at that point in time. So for example, if it moved towards release blocks, that can happen to us at any point, at any day. You know, we have that, oh, the traffic was bad, oh, and I got a phone call in the middle, and, you know, all suddenly all these things come in and we're carrying them. So this is just saying to you beautifully, release it. And sort of for the collective, just probably what Rachel will be doing later on, the candle is almost spent, time for the new. And the beauty of these cards, they're small, they're easy to use, but the messages are so strong. And if you utilize them with other cards, they actually work. They give that in color, that embellishment, that meaning to it. So this is saying to you, you know, when you get that awful bit of candle at the bottom, you're trying to get it off, you know, we tend to identify that it's time we throw it out, but so often we do not throw out from ourselves. You know, we just hang on to it, we keep it there. And it can be people because we struggle. You know, it's very hard saying to somebody, you're getting on my nerves. Perhaps you wouldn't say it like that, but to let it go. So that encouragement, what you feel. So with these cards, you would say, power, you can deal with anything. When you have that belief, that strength, and if it's pulling and drawing down on the moon's energy, helping you to see forward, maybe somebody has disappointed you. And I think disappointment is such a huge word, you know, because you go out of your way, you do loads, and they go, yeah, that's cheers, that was great. You feel disappointed. Well, you know, you can deal with all of this. And then back to where we are at the moment, gazing at the moon, you know, and the dreams will soon be yours. Put that effort, put that, you know, as Rachel says, if it means something, do something that is meaningful towards it. You know, show that you really want it. You do want to release it. You do want to move forward. You do want to pull it in. And it's not just the gazing, but it's the work that you do with it.
It's like it's Liz that's disappeared at the moment. We're having lots of fun with our internet connection tonight, aren't we? I think the moon is having a bit of a game with us. Oh, there you go, you're back. I was like, Liz, come back up. My cards are over the other side of the office.
So how about this then? For these cards, when magic is in the air, moon magic, happenings or not happenings, the internet would have synchronicities, but most importantly, time to act. And I hope that's meant something to somebody. Yeah, we're both obviously not destined to be on at the same time. If anybody's got any questions or anybody out there, if they'd like to sort of pop up and say something, we'd be very happy to answer them.
Yeah.
One of us will.
We haven't just been.
But are you pleased with the boards, Rachel?
One of us will.
So are you pleased with the boards? I mean, I think they're just absolutely, it's so different. I've never seen anything like this that you would use as part of your practice, whether you do it as part with your readings for yourself or if you read for others.
Think so. And I mean, I think with that as well. Yeah, absolutely. But it's also about, you know, if you're manifesting and things aren't going the way that you want them to, it's really good to check in with that board and find out what it's telling you to do. And, you know, just because you might be a new moon, you know, convention tells us that on a new moon we do certain things, but that board might be telling you that actually, I don't know, you need to get clearer on your intentions. Maybe you've not been specific enough about what you want. You've left things too general, or maybe there's still some blocks that you need to move on from before you can actually, you know, we talk about the sock drawer. You can't buy new socks when the sock drawer is already bulging. You've got to get rid of some before you can put something new in there. And that's really, I think that was the starting point of my thinking when I started to put that board together. And I've done, you know, I think you as well, Liz, we've done a bit of research into this, and I haven't found anything else like it at the moment. So hopefully, you know, hopefully it's going to help people on their manifesting, and just give them a bit more guidance about what is happening and why it's happening. But again, with all of these things, it comes down to trust. You've got to trust, and you've got to believe that you're getting the right.
You do. You very much have to believe in it. And it's that belief energy, that vibration that will attract. So if anybody's got any questions or anything they'd like to know, we'd be absolutely delighted.
Failing that, I think we need to give in to the internet tonight and just...
I think you're probably right.
Oh dear, it's been painful tonight, hasn't it?
But
it's the moon. It's because it's saying I should be out there, not in here.
Absolutely. It's saying very much the same to me. And you know what? Sometimes that challenging path makes it more worthwhile.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, you know.
It's what we talked about the other night, isn't it? About we talked about the journey, didn't we? In that, you know, Absolutely. You don't wake up and suddenly you're in your new holiday destination. It's the journey to get there. And that is very much about the whole manifesting process. You very rarely just get what you want. But the path you go on is often something that you remember more than, you know, the moment it all comes to fruition for you. So,
well, thank you, everybody. And for those that are watching it later, and I just really hope that you can take something away from this and enjoy it.
And hopefully the internet doesn't disturb you too much. Well, thank you very much for your time, Liz, and we will be back again very soon. Like I say, don't forget next week we're going to be looking at limiting beliefs and giving you some hints and tips on how you can move on from things that might be holding you back. So there's lots and lots coming up to keep you interested and keep you on the right path to manifesting your goals.
Night.
And with that, we will say good night.
And blessings.